Hello, welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. In today's sewing tutorial, I'll be sharing with you guys how to sew this corset with yoke and keyhole. In my previous video, I shared how to cut a bell sleeve, this bell sleeve, and also how to draft a corset with keyhole. If this is what you're looking for, continue watching till the end to see how to sew this so that you don't miss any sewing tutorial. And for the corset pattern, make sure you click in the description section how to draft this corset pattern. Let's start with the tutorial. So in my previous video, I drafted the corset on how to cut this corset with yoke. Today we are going to sew it. So I will show you how to sew a corset with yoke. The yoke has keyhole, as you can already see on the thumbnail. So these are my patterns. I've already cut them out on my fabric, as you can see. So the next thing we are going to do now is to join all of the pieces. To join them, I will start with the cups. I'll set aside this other one and start with the cups. So I'm going to place my cups right side facing together. Try and master your patterns. Know the side that should go wherever by their shapes. So I'll go ahead and sew 1/2 inch away here. After sewing it, this is how it looks. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to use my tailor's ham to open up the sewing allowance and iron it. Guys, this is my homemade tailor's ham. If you don't have a tailor's ham, try and make one, or you can form it with fabric. There are a lot of videos on how to make a tailor's ham. It will help you to iron your bra cups very well. So make sure you either buy or you make one for yourself. So this is it after ironing everything. The next thing I'm going to do now, like I said, master your patterns. As you can see how I just quickly placed it how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to master your pattern. So I'm going to place it like this and I'm going to sew it. So how to sew this? You will place this right side facing together. As you're sewing it, you drop your needle on it and be sewing it like this, the way I'm showing you. Let me do that again. So you're going to place right side facing together like this. As you're sewing it, you're lifting the needle and you're sewing it. You're going to take it easy, sew it gently, don't rush it, and then that is it. So after sewing mine, this is how it's looking, guys. So let me turn it the other way around. As you can see, I've not added any bra foam. It's just my fabric and interfacing. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to sew the bra cups. Guys, I don't like using already made cups. I like to make my cups myself. So I just use my pattern and cut out without sewing allowance. No sewing allowance any side. So these are my bra foam. It's less than 1/2 inch or 1/2 inch, the bra foam I'm using. So I'm going to place this like this together and I'm going to sew it from the tips. If you have been watching my corset, you should already know this. Just sew it at the tips, not even up to 0.25. Guys, if you want to know where to get bra cups, just ask people that sell tailoring materials and they will show you. So this is it after sewing it. I'll go ahead and also use my tailor's ham to iron it. Guys, I told you guys, tailor's ham is very, very useful when you're making corsets and bustiers. So I'll go ahead and iron this properly. By this time, I've already started trying to make the cup to cup very well, because by just sewing it, the cup will not come out. You have to form it yourself. So as you can see, the cup, I'm trying to show you guys what I sewed out. It's not up to 0.25. So I'll go ahead and put this to my fabric. You're going to put it inside the fabric like this. I know you guys must have been wondering, how does this woman want to do this? So I'm going to place this like this and use my hemming gun to hold it. So After turning it this way, you see my cups are lapping properly, and you can see I didn't add any sewing allowance to it. So I'm just trying to arrange it properly, and I'm going to use my tailor's ham again. Guys, can you see why I said tailor's ham is very, very good? So I'm going to use my tailor's ham and lift up the fabric like this. As you have aligned it, you keep holding your hand there and you put your hemming gum there, and place it back, arrange it properly, and keep arranging it, molding it, and you use your iron and iron it down. Hemming gums, when if it comes in contact with heat, it will just gum whatever fabric that is there. So this is it after ironing it. As you can see, the cup is cupping. Okay guys, don't mind me. If you have watched this video till this time, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and turn on your notification bell icon so that anytime I post any video, you'll be the first to see it. To my returning subscribers, thank you guys for your support, sharing my video out, liking my video, dropping comments. It means a lot to me. So guys, let's continue. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do now is to sew the yoke. If you watch the pattern drafting, you guys knows that I said you must notch your yoke so that you know what you're doing. So this is it. After I'm done cutting it, I'm going to sew the neckline like this, and from the notch I made where the keyhole will be, I'm going to sew it close to that place. So with that, I will sew close my keyhole. This is it. After sewing it, I'll go ahead and turn this out. After turning it out, you go ahead and iron it. This is it after ironing it. As you can see, the keyhole is separate and this place is separate. So guys, I also made a notch where I'm going to align it to the main bodies with the balance point. So I'm going to align it there like that. That should give me a guide, and I'm going to pin it down like this. If you have not watched the video on how to make this pattern drafting tutorial, both the bustier pattern and how to make a corset, make sure you watch them. I'm going to drop it in the link in the description section so that you understand everything we are doing. In fact, if you have not watched that video, this might be it might be sounding like broken record. So I'm going to pin this down like this. So after pinning it down, the next thing I will do is to use the lining to cover this. I've gone ahead and prepared my lining. As you can see, I've fixed the bonings, not boning channels, because I used Ridgeline boning. I just sew it straight on the lining. So I'm going to place this like this, and I'm going to sew it. Guys, I need a small v-neck in front. If you notice on the thumbnail, you will notice that it has that opening there has a small v. So I'm going to mark the small v. Don't make the mistake of cutting it. If you cut it, it might be too hard for you to sew. So you just draw the shape of the v-neck you want, deep v that you want on the lining. So I'm just trying to make sure I can draw exactly what I have on the other side. This is it. So I'll go to my machine now and place this on my main fabric, and I'm going to sew it. I'll sew the neckline and sew the v-neck. So make sure you remove the yoke when you're sewing the v-neck, so the yoke doesn't get trapped in. So I'm going to align it like this, push the yoke inside, making sure I align the center front properly, and I'm going to sew the v-neck. So first of all, sew the v-neck before you go ahead and sew the other side of the neckline. So this is it after sewing it. As you can see, you see the small v-neck. Yeah. So guys, if you notice, I didn't add the boning to the center. So now is the time for me to add boning to that place. So I'm going to place the final boning for the center, and I'm going to go ahead and sew this. So I will sew this straight. This is it after sewing it. You can see the boning. Yeah. Next, I'm going to close the lower part. For me to do that, I'm going to turn this right side facing together, and I would align it, make sure the side seam are aligned properly. I'll go ahead and sew it. After sewing it, I went ahead and turned it, and this is how it's looking. And this is the back. So guys, if you have not watched the video on how to cut this corset, I'll suggest you click in the description section and watch how to cut the corset. And guys, I'll let you know that for you to cut a corset, you must learn how to make a proper bustier, and then you now go over to making your corset. So I have detailed tutorial on how to draft your bustier pattern and also how to draft the corset. I'll drop that in the link in the description section. This is the back. For the back, I'm not doing anything. I'm not adding any boning. I'm not doing anything. I just like it to just have zip. I didn't even add interface into this. I didn't add no boning, no nothing. So this is it. I like to use zip. If you want to use lacing, I have a video. I'll drop my corsets playlist for you to check out if you want to do lacing and all that. So the next thing I'm going to do is to align the shoulder and sew it. After sewing it, this is how it's going to look. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to sew the sleeve. For the sleeve, where is a bell sleeve, and I have a video on how to make this bell sleeve. I've already made that tutorial and is up on my channel. I'll also drop that in the link in the description section. So guys, I'll go ahead and place the sleeve right side facing together. I'm going to place it on the armhole like this and sew it. So after sewing it, this is how everything is looking. I'm done coupling this. Guys, make sure if you're sewing this, you use open and close zip. That way you'll be able to wear it. If you use a normal zip, you can't be able to wear it unless you're going to make a lacing for it. So guys, I am done making this. I have come to the end of today's sewing tutorial.